Hello.
Hello, everybody. TGIF.
Hi.
Welcome to Behind the Masterminds, episode 73 of season 4. And today is a good one. We have Who Loves Murder Mysteries?
Theme, for sure.
Oh, that is her favorite
CSI,
thing.
like all my, Criminal Minds.
Yeah.
That's all me.
So where's everyone joining us from? First, we want to say hi, Mark in the UK and Angela in the US. Thank you for joining us and tuning in. But let's get started.
Sure.
Like we said, we're very excited because we're here to discuss our favorite genre, which is murder mysteries. In this episode, we will be speaking with two amazing masterminds on how to create a good murder mystery game. Are you guys ready for our guest today?
Yes. Oh, you pressed my... Okay.
First up. Oh, and also when I announce you, just raise your hand. I know everyone probably knows who you are because you're so famous, but just raise your hand. First up, let's welcome Shenandoah Million. The founder and co-creator of A Killing Affair. She created this company with her partner in crime / daughter-in-law, Amanda Million. Together, they have written and produced 21 episodes so far and sold over 10,000 copies since their launch in early 2020. They offer 2 mystery series on their website, which is Lovely City and Sin City. Lovely City is a serial game solved over several episodes, and Sin City is a lot like Law and Order. A murder is solved in every box while a bigger mystery unfolds over time.
Do you want to just do your own show?
Yeah.
Taking over my job? Okay.
And next up, we have Murder Mystery Investigations, which is Joy Swift. Hi, Joy.
Hi.
Joy invented the concept of interactive murder mysteries in 1981. She took it to the States in 1983, performing the first at the Vista International Hotel. Joy has written for TV and is just about to sign a book deal for a series of books. Joy produced the first fully interactive online investigation as a thank you to her guests in 2010, her 30th anniversary. But during the pandemic, Joy couldn't work and was closed down for 18 months.
So is everyone else.
Yeah. But she took the opportunity to create 2 cold cases for her online site, which has received critical acclaim from both professional reviewers and her many players, and most excitingly, ESCAPETHEROOMers for winning the Player's Choice Award. Joy was awarded an MBE by the Queen in 2001 for her services to tourism, which she cherishes to this very day.
Of course.
I
I would be very happy if the Queen cherished me or something.
Hello, Matt. Hello, Jamie, Angela. Hello again. And Karen, welcome.
Nice. Thanks for joining us. So, all right, ladies, I feel like I need to say this today. Girl power.
I'll say, definitely.
All right, so that was my part of this whole episode. I will see everyone next episode.
So anyways, I'm going to get right to the questions because we have a lot today.
Yeah.
So please let us know what inspired you guys to want to write murder mysteries rather than other type of genres.
Who do you want to go first?
I don't know.
Let's start with Joy.
Yeah, sure. We'll swap.
I fell into it. I had no idea that I was going to spend the next 40 years doing it. I was working for a chain of hotels in PR and marketing and thinking up new ideas to get people into the hotels. And I was driving to work one morning and I heard about a shooting in the Plaza in New York. And I thought, oh, wouldn't it be awful if somebody was shot in our hotel? Bad PR, etc. And then in a 20-minute journey from home to the hotel, I suddenly thought, actually, wouldn't it be great to be dropped into an Agatha Christie type film? And I worked, I thought about it. I went into my bosses and I said, I've had a great idea. My boss said no, didn't like it. And I said, I think we get a lot of publicity. And he said, oh, okay, then. So I worked on it for about 4 months, got a load of guests involved, got some local actors involved, and a local crime writer involved who was meant to be writing the plot. And when it was presented, it was very poor. And I knew that we had to keep people busy for 3 days from Friday to Sunday. But the main thing I wanted to make it was very realistic. I wanted the guests who were there to get to know the characters, to get invested in the characters, so that when there were rows about affairs or whatever, the guests would be upset or angry. And that's how it played out. I took the Monday off. It worked really well. But I invited in on the Sunday some local press to take photos of guests standing by a body looking shocked. And I took the Monday off because I knew I was going to be exhausted. I went in on Tuesday, and the telephonist said, "You're going to be very busy." And I said, "How so?" And she said, "You'll see when you get to your desk." And when I got to my desk, there were lots of messages. Would I ring the New York Times? Would I ring the Daily Mail, which is one of our biggest papers?
Right.
Would I ring the BBC holiday programme, which was one of our biggest holiday programmes? So I did all of that. They wanted to cover the next one, which of course I hadn't planned. Hurriedly arranged something. They all came on the next one. And the BBC holiday programme producer said to me, when this goes on air on the BBC, it'll just go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I fell into it, literally, and realized I could write a pretty mean plot, because on the second one, I did it with the actors. And then after that, I realized that was my forte. As a girl, I always loved Agatha Christie and sort of read them all by the time I was 13. So I think I had a bit of a bent for it anyway. But then as the years have gone on, 40 years on, I'm a really good plot writer, just because I've had to always stay one step ahead of all my guests,
Right?
Because they've got more sophisticated, so I've got more sophisticated, and now I'm really good.
That's this one. She's always trying to figure out what the ending is and the killer midway through a movie. She's like, I know, it's this, and just watch the movie.
Yeah, nobody will ever get mine halfway through.
Ooh.
because they don't have all the information.
Right.
And my plots are very, very subtle. And there's always a sort of light bulb moment. And they won't sort of get that until 3/4 of the way through, even later, because I drip feed the information.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's kind of similar to Shenandoah's games, because you do have that aspect as well in your subscription games, where you only give some stuff in box 1, and then as it goes on, you get more stuff in box 2 and things like that. Do you want to share like what your inspiration was in starting?
Yeah, Joy, that's a really great story. I don't know that mine's that exciting, but when we started writing for our game, there wasn't any other genre in our radar at all. I didn't even know they existed. It wasn't until doing more research and finding some Facebook groups and meeting other people, learning about the other genres. So it was always going to be murder mystery for us. There was no other idea. But really just simply playing other murder mystery games, I became absolutely obsessed with it, and always still felt like there might be a little something missing. I felt excited and invested and immersed, but then kind of like that wah at the end of the story. You're looking for that, oh, I knew it, or just that, oh wow, I missed it. And I just never could find that. I mean, there's a few of them out there, a few I could see, but not like I really wanted. And I think that the industry was at that time missing the narrative, as just something to really grab you and bring you in. And I was a huge fan of the podcast called My Favorite Murder. The two main women who are on, the host of that podcast, are extremely funny, intuitive, and also extremely very intense with their storytelling. And I just knew if I could find a way to bring that storytelling to a murder mystery game, it would be a win-win. Like there would be no reason why anybody could not want to play it over and over again. Right. Obviously, that was several years ago, and everybody has a different wish in the game industry. So what you love and isn't always the same as what everybody else loves. But those are the things that really got me going and got me excited about it, is other games playing. 100%. I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, so I feel like for both of you, it's semi like either self-taught or you fell into it. Like it's more of a, like you didn't have to go to take writing classes or like, been involved in this type of genre in order to bring that out to the audience. When did you guys figure out that you were really good at this? Like how many copies have you, or like, when do you feel like, oh my God, I'm getting a fan base. This is crazy. When did that happen? We'll
start with Shenandoah since, yeah.
I still am wondering if I'm any good at this, I guess. We look at our players for feedback all the time. I mean, and we apply it. So we don't just read it and go, oh, let's get the pom-poms out. We are looking for detailed feedback. We still, every one of our episodes are put through playtesters. We don't just ship direct to consumers ever. We want to hear what they say, because I don't have background as a writer and I don't have background as a game creator. So I want to hear from the people that matter, and those are the ones playing our games.
Right.
So I would say, as far as what makes this work for us, and when I feel like I know we're good at this, it's really hearing from them on a regular basis and letting them know we can always improve. And obviously our numbers speak for themselves, right? So we've sold quite a few of our boxes, and really, really neat to see that. And people keep coming back for more.
Yeah,
for sure.
I also want to say I love both of your backgrounds. Like, first of all, look at all the posters that she has.
I think she's like working on something.
Yeah, I know.
They're all working on something.
There's like something more, and then Joy has like
Joy's background's great.
Wow.
That's my that would be. You know what, Amanda? I think we're going to have to look at doing a.
Is that like a think board? Or like, is that for you to jot down notes, or is that like real?
No, that's all the evidence from one of our games.
Oh my goodness! Is that a whole wall, or is it just like a section?
No, it's a whole wall.
Oh my goodness! Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, continue on with my question before, because Joy didn't answer it. But when did you know that you were good, and like when did the fans become like massive?
When did it hit you?
As far as games are concerned, only just recently, because that wasn't on my radar at all. We've always been so busy doing all the interactive stuff, out with the public and the guests that come on the weekends. And we've done cruise ships and we've done all sorts of things. And we always got amazing feedback, and people always came back, still come back, saying, you are the original and you are the best. And that was all that I needed.
Yeah.
And the feedback for all of our plots was always terrific. And so I just sort of thought I would know how to do the online thing. And I've just literally transposed plots that have already been played to death by Super Sleuths on weekends.
Mm-hmm.
And I have 146 plots, so I've still got a lot to do. And I'm just working on the third one now. But it's the feedback from the playing guests that have been on weekends that say that plot was amazing.
Yeah.
And they've always been saying to me, you should write for TV, you should write books. But this seemed to me a really good way of giving my plots out to a lot more people than are able to come on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think it registered with her when she got the Bullseye Player's Choice Award, and she said, "Oh, huge fan base."
What was really interesting about the award, as you know, it was pre-recorded, but I was actually on a New Year event with 90 guests.
Ooh.
And I heard, because somebody texted me, but I was actually a character and I was acting with the guests, and it came through, whatever it was, 11:45 or something like that. And we were having a row, and I won. And everybody realized what it was, and there was lots of cheering and clapping. Aww. And everybody came out of character for like 5 seconds. It's brilliant. Really great.
That sounds like an awesome party.
Yeah. No reason to celebrate and pop champagne and get into character.
For sure.
So we have a couple of questions. We know this answer, but I'll let you tell it. Mark wants to know, where are you both from?
Oh, yeah.
I'm from Fort Myers, Florida.
Lovely city. Is Lovely City like?
We might join you soon.
I mean, it's a combination. It's it's something we created from our own head, if you will. It's not based out of a specific city, but we definitely we get all of our inspiration from Fort Myers, Florida.
Oh,
that's so awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Joy?
Liverpool.
Yeah,
okay.
I think Mark's close there.
Yeah, Mark is also from the UK.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to continue on with Shenandoah. I know this is not your first instance because we kind of spoke a little bit about, what else you do, but you're really crafty. So tell us, where are most of your props coming from? If you have any like near you.
I have a few. Well, my first business was actually a financial advisor, but it's a very black and white, and that's what I do. It's my I'm still a financial advisor. It's almost impossible to retire from that. I've been one for almost 25 years. But it's so black and white, and I'm a very creative person. I've always needed an outlet. So I'm ever since I can remember, always looking for something I can sew, craft, paint, resin, cut, tape, whatever it is. I like to make stuff, anything. It's not anything specific. And the neat thing about being a murder mystery writer that requires props and evidence is if you can create it yourself, it allows us a lot more flexibility with hiding things and adding stuff. So I definitely enjoy. It's one of my favorite things about this company and what we've created is the ability to make stuff. So you'll find in almost every other episode, at least something is, I don't want to say handmade, but it's definitely, we make and create everything here right in our shop. So we send maybe 2% of our items are sent out somewhere else, from the printing all the way down to the gluing and the cutting. So we do it here in house. So I have a couple of my, it's hard to always share because we're always worried about spoilers, right? Mm-hmm. So I wanted to, and I'm staring at the wall. We have a huge wall of evidence items. I'm like, what can I share that isn't going to give a spoiler? So I have one item that I think that shows quite a bit without a spoiler. There is more to it, so that helps as well. But all of our evidence comes in evidence bags like this for Lovely City. Depending on the storyline, we have a couple different variables, but inside of that is, I love to sew. So we can make these, we can purchase them ourselves, but I prefer to make them. So that's something that I'll do in my free time, usually at 11 or 12 o'clock at night, because there's not much free time when you run two businesses. So, we make a purse that is actually one of the characters' purses, and she happens to be a crafty person and made her own purse. And inside of the purse, we have, my business partner loves to make false IDs. She figures that's going to be her next line of line of business, is going to be able to, I hope nobody else is watching that is, we can get in trouble for, but as you can see, she's really good at driver's license. I'm trying to think of that way to put this here, driver's license and things like that. So, and even as far as notebooks and writing from the perspective of our characters, and creating the illustrations from drawing and poetry that I've written when I was younger, we'll put in. So we're very, there we go. I got to go the backwards way. I'm obviously don't know how to work a camera. So I can create stuff, but I can't work a camera. And those are all things that are in one of our evidence items, but it doesn't stop there. I mean, we, again, love to paint, and we discover new craft things all the time. This is a notebook that's in one of our boxes. So, I mean, I could spend 3 hours, probably all day long, talking about the different evidence items that are in there, in our boxes, hopefully without giving away any spoilers, but those are just a few of them. Some of the more recent ones that we have are from Sin City, and this is a coaster that Amanda worked on, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah,
pretty, isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
And her first coaster was she actually created. It looked even 10 times better than this, but what happens is we realize that we cannot produce that many that fast in house that we need to keep up with their subscription levels. So we'll have to kind of go back and recreate things. But for example, she had started this one as a etched it in, so sketched it in, and it looks so cool. This looks really cool too, but it looked even cooler before. But those are just
amazing.
Again, I could use your whole show up talking about those things.
It's so personal, the detail that you put into your work. I mean, it's.
But I also love the fact that you could kind of use it after for yourself.
Oh yeah.
Like, that was really the initial.
Use that.
We want to put stuff that's useful in our games. I mean, ultimately, you're not going to get a troll doll in one of our games that means nothing. The troll doll you're going to need to know that it has pink hair for somewhere down the road, or you're going to get items that will always mean something. So there isn't going to be we don't throw evidence in the bag. It's got to be part of the storyline, whether there's a logo that you'll see again later on in the game. But with the crafty side of it, the neat part is, you're not always getting the same thing twice. For example, whether it's purses that we're doing or beading that we do, they're all different. We like that extra added item to it. So you're not it is feeling very personalized and very real.
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually using that bag the other day.
I saw that picture you posted.
I was in the gym. I had my phone in the bag, and it was just strapped over.
So fashionable.
Definitely.
Anyways. All right. So I'm moving on to Joy. So besides the online games, you also have some weekend meetups, right? How do those work, and how big are the gatherings usually?
So we have about 30 proper full weekends, Friday to Sunday, for our guests, where we'll get maybe 80, 90 people. And there will be at least 9, if not 10 actors. I write the very detailed plots beforehand, and the characterizations and the storylines. And always on a weekend, there are at least 3 murders. And those are proper, bloody, gory murders that the guests will come and take photos. And there are at least 4 or 5 suspects, all of whom have motive to kill maybe 1 or 2 of the victims on the weekend. But quite often, and more often than not, there are actually murders that have happened before the weekend as well. So I can have on some plots maybe 10 murders to be solved. And the subplots, the smaller plots, they would only have motive to kill maybe 2 on the weekend. But the really subtle plot that's underlying will then build and build and build. And there's usually a light bulb moment where there's a code that they've cracked, or I did one years ago that was all about geocaching, when geocaching first started.
Yeah.
And they actually found something in the garden because they plotted out where it was going to be, and this was all integral. But most of my plots have themes to them, and I think that they can be far more realistic. And because you've got all the action, because you've got all the videos on the game, for example, I try to reproduce what my guests experienced on a weekend. So on the game, they have all the fighting, the rowing, the various storylines being uncovered, exactly as they would be on a weekend. Right. So it's very much a sort of live experience. Unlike Shenandoah's, which looks absolutely amazing, there's nothing to collect per se, but there's an incident room with an awful lot of evidence. On my online ones, on each plot, there's about 150 on each cold case pieces of evidence, and at least 50 videos of action and fighting and police interviews where you see them really sort of pin the suspects down and get them into difficult situations. And really, it is as close to being on a murder weekend as is possible. And the guests and players seem to love it. Our job now is to get it out to the world, because people don't know about us really. The subscription things are amazing, and obviously I think started with Hunter Killer, and it's sort of really grown the whole subscription box idea. Mine's very different. It's a case of playing, but mine's more like a book mixed with action. Yeah. So it's like reading a book, but you've got all the video footage, and people are playing it like that, like a book. They can binge play it, or they can read a chapter a night. Or some people, for example, in lockdown, I was getting a lot of feedback from people who were missing their families. Sometimes their families were abroad or even just 50 miles away, but they couldn't go and visit them. So they were playing it together. And one of my guests had relations in Australia, in America. And every Saturday night during lockdown, they all met up together and had a family with crisps and wine, and they all solved the murders together. Oh, so it's a very different experience to the subscription boxes. I love nicky-nacky things. I always have done. And I would love to get all those amazing things through the post. So mine's very, very different. If I dare say it, probably a lot more eco-friendly, because there's no packaging. There's no things that are sent out and then yours will never be thrown away because they're so lovely. But, I've heard ones that have got a lot of plastic and stuff, which, maybe isn't the right way to go now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't think we can compare them at all, because mine are more like murder weekends and a book, if you like, and a film all rolled into one.
Yeah. Right, yeah. No, there's a lot more people to kill. There's no competition.
Yeah, there's room for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
there.
So we do have 2 videos
Yeah.
that they can kind of see like what the games are all about. Let's give the audience
So
a little
we'll start with
peek
A Killing Affair.
Okay.
We're just going to play video. And Shenandoah, if you want to tell us a little bit about what we're showing,
Okay.
I'll let you do so. And here we go.
You're looking at our 2nd season, which is Playing with Fire. Lovely City is comprised of of 4 different seasons. So it starts with Lovely City's Independence Day and then followed by Playing with Fire. It's a 5-episode game where you will track an arsonist serial killer. It does have a lot of the same variables that you're used to seeing with our game with Lovely City's Independence Day. In addition, we introduce the fire department as well. So it's a really, really fun game with, I believe, some of the best evidence items that we have. There's that particular season is not our favorite to sell because there's a lot of work that goes into it. So whenever we see that one those orders pop up, Amanda, my business partner who does some of the bigger projects that are in there, she's always like, oh, because it's just so much work. So
yeah, there's a lot in there. Yeah,
but that's on us from a creator side. Now from a player side, it's a really cool game and a neat storyline. So
yeah,
for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So the next video is for Murder Mystery Investigations. Joy, I'm going to let you take it away, and here we go.
This is just an advert basically for one of our games, and it illustrates the fact that there's lots of action. As it says, a lot of twists and turns. Now, that is the wall behind me, and that's the detective inspector. And when he starts the investigation, there's about 5 pieces of evidence on the wall, but then he builds it up over each chapter, and it ends up with an entire wall full of information. But it's oh, there's the award! Yay! But it's just an illustration of what we do. Lots of action, lots of evidence,
Yeah,
and lots of sleuthing, proper sleuthing, because the plots are very complex. But I think the thing that the guests always say to me afterwards on a weekend and with this is that when they get the light bulb moment, which obviously I can't say what it is, but when they get the light bulb moment, it's so satisfying. And then they can go back and sort of look at the past stuff, and then everything slots into place. Once they've worked out what the theme, or I always usually have a theme or a code or something that will link everything together. And once they get that, they say it's magic.
Yeah. We have a question. Actually, this is a very interesting one. Also for Mark. Wants to know, are there any age restrictions or recommendations for each game / experience?
oh yeah, like I guess kids
Like,
will
because
be
it's
semi-traumatized.
the genre. Is there any age restrictions?
Mine really. Obviously, with the online thing, I can't really restrict it, and it's up to the people playing. But certainly when we have people on weekends, I say minimum age of 16.
16.
Which we sort of geared to in the UK. I don't know what you have in America. We have what is called the watershed moment or hour, which is 9 o'clock. And anything after 9 o'clock, is going to be adult theme. Now, there's a lot of detective things which I'm sure you've seen, British ones like Morse and I'm trying to think, but the more gritty, the more modern. It's the sort of thing that you would see. I get all my ideas from cuttings from newspapers, and it's things that you really wouldn't want your kids to be talking about or knowing about. They are all adult gritty plots. But I think we've said 16 on the game, but you can't legislate for it. But also, I'm not sure that they would be interested because the plots are too complex. I don't know whether they've got the attention span, really.
Yeah.
Right.
We had to give ours to our reviewer, Jillian, who actually completed it. I was like, well, are you kidding me? You've finished 2 games in like 2 days. She's a little crazy.
This is right up her alley.
Speed beater, though, we can't. We're like, whoa, you're
I think it took Jillian about 10, 12 hours each one.
Yeah, and she's fast, so.
Yeah, but most of my players say between about 20 and 24 hours to solve the whole thing.
She probably binged it. I could see her just like playing straight through.
Oh, she did. Yeah. Oh, she gave me amazing feedback. It was terrific.
Great.
And Shenandoah, is there age restrictions for your games?
That's such a, as Joy, even you could see the hesitation because it's such a hard question to answer. And we've had, I think it's not so much age, it's murder. I mean, do that's the first thought process that I have is, yeah, you probably want to be considerate for younger children. But the secondary is any of our games, how much attention span the person that wouldn't be age appropriate would not make it through a whole game because there's reading involved and it is complex of a area. I think it's more about not the age recommendations that I would say that with any of these games to pay attention to the triggering aspects, which I had a crash course in not too long ago because we had lost some of our when we switched websites, we lost some of our ratings. So one of our players had brought to our attention, whoa, I needed to know about this. And, with some of our first game with Independence Day, it is a little vanilla, it's, you're playing, it definitely has it does talk a lot about drinking and driving. So there could be some triggers there we want to make sure people are aware of. But on box 2, we really do dive into the Me Too movement and assault in the workplace. So if that's something that is a triggering thing for you, you want to probably tread with caution. We also do have some language thing. I know we have one clue in our first box of that season of season 2 that it can be a little there's a swear word and it is very, whoa, wait a second, where'd that come from? So I think it's important to pay attention to those little things. And in box 3, we might tread a little uncomfortable towards animal abuse topics. So it triggers and on our website, they're listed now on every one of our seasons so that if there is something you have concern for, but I think with any of these games to really be a good murder mystery game, we have to have some content, topics that aren't necessarily comfortable for everybody. So there's no way around that. I don't know how there would be. So
I would say parental discretion advised.
100%. Yeah. And we are always available. We try to reply very quickly. So if there is an age and a specific personality of your kids that you would like to just bounce some thoughts with us, we'll let you know if we think it's good or bad. We're we want we're both moms. We want your kids to not come out of this scarred.
Right.
So,
yeah,
for sure. All right. So before we continue on, we do have a little fun segment that everybody can participate in because Brandon feels like he can also write a murder mystery. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna attempt.
So since we have 2 very creative individuals on our show today, I want your answers to be as creative as possible. Yeah. For example, if I ask for a color, don't say red, blue. Yeah. Give me something that's descriptive. And the audience is also welcome to share. So when I throw a question out for an adjective or a noun and I say audience, the first one to type it is the one I'm going to be plugging into our murder mystery Mad Libs. Hello.
Okay. It sometimes takes me a long time to come up with those words. So on the spot writing.
I was trying that.
Something as simple as we ran out of adjectives. Oh no.
Yeah.
You might hear it.
So here we go. This is how it's going to work. I'm going to ask for what is needed and then we will generate it and then I will read the story.
All right.
Afterwards.
You ready?
So audience, you know what's going on. So when I do say audience, please give me this. The first one to type it is the one that's going into our story.
Okay.
All right. So I'll start with Joy. Please give me a meal.
What type of meal?
Oh, God.
It's like I'm hungry.
Vegan burger.
Vegan
burger. Okay. See, that's what I'm talking about. The creativity. Okay. Vegan burger.
Okay.
Shenandoah, please give me an adjective.
Ooh, adjective. Let's say diligent.
Okay. Sounds good.
Audience, please give me a color, a creative, descriptive color.
Yeah. Yesterday he went with like poopy brown.
Poop brown. I said poop color brown.
Christmas green.
If we don't get anything in, I'm going to throw it over to Joy. Nothing's coming in.
Well, we're going to wait for a little bit, but let's move on to the next action.
Yeah, we'll come back to that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll give them a little thinking time.
Joy, an adjective. Oh, wait, hold on. I got grass green from Maria Allen. Let me just add that in there.
Okay.
And then Joy, I need an adjective.
Perplexing.
Perplexing. Wow. Okay.
All right.
And then Shenandoah, I need a spice.
Ooh, spice. I'm not a big cooker. This is my husband's department. Let me see. Let's do paprika.
Paprika, okay.
That's nice.
Audience, I need an animal.
Animal.
Remember, creative answers. And then I'll let them do that while Joy, another adjective.
Another one.
There's a lot of
There's a lot of adjectives in this one.
Discombobulated.
All right.
I don't even know if I'm going to spell that, but I'm going to try. Discombobulated.
Right there. It
Oh,
popped
there you
up.
go. Okay. And then I got lemur.
Lemur
was the first one, right?
From Matt, yes.
Okay. Thank you. And then we're over to Shenandoah. I need a color, creative color.
Christmas tree green.
Okay.
Oh, a lot of greens. Okay.
Let's have the audience for an adjective this time.
First adjective from the audience, and then Joy, give me an insult.
Insult in the UK.
Ooh,
I feel like the word bloody is going to start before the insult.
Fecking, which is there's a program out here called Dr. Brown, and he was always telling people to feck off. And because it's spelled
I love it.
differently, it's acceptable.
Facking.
I love it.
Okay.
Actually, Eminem has a song called Fack.
Well, okay.
Just FYI, I'm putting it out there.
Okay. Squiggly. We got a squiggly.
Squiggly? Oh, no, we got
Stacey.
jittery was
Oh,
before
jittery.
that.
Okay, jittery.
Jittery's
yes,
going in. All right. Shenandoah, give me an animal.
Ooh, let's do a pitbull.
Pitbull.
Okay.
That's my puppy.
Let's give the hard one to the audience.
Yes,
Abstract
noun.
So an abstract noun is like
something
things
that's
that are
not real.
intangible, like
Right.
love, or just
And
in
then
case, you know.
Joy, another adjective.
You keep giving me adjectives. I'm running out.
All right, you know what? Give me an abstract noun, and audience, give me an adjective.
Okay.
That's
That's the time.
Honestly, I've gone blank.
She's like, this is harder than me writing
This is
murder
harder
mystery.
than think or drink.
It's very late in Liverpool.
Oh,
I should be in bed by now.
All
Seriously.
right, so I got consequence,
Okay.
and then I'll wait for that abstract noun. Shenandoah, a fruit.
yeah, I'm sorry, Joy. I don't know what to say. They're giving me the easy ones. It's okay. I'll take
I
it.
can give you a fruit.
Okay, do you want to swap? First one to give me a fruit. First one to give me a.
Yeah, I'll do the abstract now. I can come up with something. Let me just think.
Okay, Joy, a fruit.
Blueberry.
Blueberry. Okay.
Yummy. All right.
How
We do have
about-
some good amount of adjectives that came in, like
Judgment.
weird, brutally. Where's that?
Brutality?
Brutality.
Brutality. Okay, I'm throwing brutality in there. I like that.
Okay.
We'll wait for you on an abstract noun.
Judgment.
And then,
Something you
Judgment.
wear.
well, did she say? I didn't hear it. What was your answer? One more time.
Judgment.
Judgment. Okay.
Yeah, I kept talking when you wasn't working.
I'm going to put this one out there for the audience. Something you wear. Something you wear. Joy, a color.
Spice.
Spice. Okay. Shenandoah, an adjective.
Let's do magnificent.
Magnificent. Okay.
Okay. And then we have
And
a verb present ending in S.
ends in the letter S. So give me a verb that's present that ends in the letter S. So something plural. We're getting a lot of
Wait,
answers
let's
coming in.
go with Matt's thong. I like that.
Thong is something you wear. Okay. I think we're up
I'm
to
really
date.
confused about where this is going to go.
Me too. It's gonna be a hell.
All
of a
right, I got
story.
masticates from Karen, so they're just coming through for you both. And then food. Someone to give me a food. Oh, actually, Shenandoah, give me a food for this one.
Let's do what I ate for lunch. Keto pepper.
Ooh, I
Keto
love
Keto-
stuffed peppers.
Keto stuffed peppers.
It's
We're
We're
both
delicious.
also
keto
on
as
keto
well.
diet.
Yeah, it's working
that's-
good.
it. All right, Joy.
Two more.
Unit of time, plural. Like seconds, years,
Unit of
hours.
time.
millennium.
Hours.
Hours. Okay. And then the last one is verb
In
in
base form.
base form.
There's just verb. Maybe just
Oh,
no
okay.
ed and ing.
I don't know. How about dancing?
Okay.
So dance. Okay. All right.
All right, we're ready.
We're going to generate this and then come up with. Okay. Here we go. Should we set the tone? Let's set the tone.
I don't know.
Audience, are you ready for what we've all compiled for this murder mystery Mad Libs? Well, here it goes.
We write this one together.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
It's a familiar one. It's actually one of my favorite movies, but it's been tweaked a little bit.
Okay.
Dear old Mr. Body has invited his closest friends and colleagues over for a vegan burger party on what just so happens to be a diligent and stormy night. The guests include Miss Grass Green, classic femme fatale. She is perplexing, cunning, and highly attractive. Colonel Paprika, a former military man who is colonial imperialist and a lemur hunter. He's dignified, discombobulated, and extremely dangerous. Mr. Christmas Tree Green, a jittery, sweaty con man masquerading as a rich investor. He is a bully and a facking with a shady past. Mrs. Pitbull, a traditional grand dame, an elderly yet still attractive socialite who attempts to maintain an air of judgment and elegance at all times. But behind this facade, she is quite greedy and consequential.
Okay.
Professor Blueberry, a respectable and brutality professor, a middle-aged fellow with a bow tie and thong. He is widely seen as the intellectual, and he uses this perception to distract you from his sneaky side. Also in attendance, of course, is Mrs. Spice, Mr. Body's magnificent, somewhat frazzled-looking maid. Playing the role of faithful servant for many years, she is not so secretly masticating her job and Mr. Body himself. Suddenly, right during the middle of the keto stuffed peppers course, there is a crack of lightning and a boom of thunder, and the electricity goes out. In the darkness, there is much hubbub and confusion. But thankfully, the power comes back on, and in mere hours, upon the re-illumination of the room, it is revealed that Mr. Body is gone. Dun, dun, dun.
I don't have a dun,
I'm sorry.
dun,
Dun, dun, dun. The guests file out of the room to dance for him and are startled to discover his dead body lying in the middle of the house. But the question is, who done it, and with what done it, and where done it? Solve the case and find the murderer, this weapon of choice, and where the crime was committed.
Nice.
Wow.
Wow. Do you think he can apply for a job now?
Well, I didn't use any of
my.
my imitations. I was gonna throw a little Arnold in there, but I didn't. So
Hard to do that when you're reading, yeah.
Yeah, it was a little too much. I'll save that for something else.
I feel like it's the thong guy that used the thong to like probably strangulate.
The thong guy,
Yeah.
yeah.
The thong
I like
guy.
The thong.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sounded right to me.
All right. Well, thank you for doing that and participating in our murder mystery Mad Libs, as well as the audience. But that's it for our show,
Is it?
right? Oh,
No.
is there something else?
Oh my god, we still have to give away amazing prizes.
The raffle winners totally forgot. Is that what they were here for? Oh, let's find out.
Wait, but before we do that, though, I still do have to ask the most important question: is exactly how can we create a good murder mystery game? Like, is it the twist, or is it, what we're trying to avoid, always the husband type of thing? Like, what are we doing, in case if someone wanted to write a good murder mystery?
It's usually the unexpected one, which is the short 5'1" wife who's,
I was going to say, I like how she said husband and didn't say wife. Cliche.
Yeah, I have to. Yeah, so go ahead.
What is your tip?
We don't have to share all your
Yeah,
secrets.
don't give it
then
away.
it's
Don't give it all away.
Yeah, but some points will be great.
Joy, do you want to go first?
I always have to start with the theme, because when all the guests arrive at the hotel, they're given a theme as to why they're there. And each theme that I do lasts the run of 4 months. So I do 3 brand new plots a year. So, for example, they may be invited to a wedding. So I will send the beforehand details about the bride and the groom, etc. Now, over the years, every week I get all the papers, I get magazines, and I pull out cuttings that I think might be useful down the line. And so if I come up with a theme that's about funeral directors, for example, I will remember that, I've got a great cutting about somebody that was doing, and actually this was a plot I did, and the funeral directors were found to be stealing the thyroids from all of the cadavers in the mortuary. And I made that into a whole plot. So I sort of tend to go for very realistic things, but I always have a theme to the murders. It might be a song, it might be, well, it could be anything really, or a code. So I sort of work in 3 ways. So I start with the theme. That gives me the characters. So if it was a school, it's obviously going to be teachers or whatever. And then I've already got stacked up a load of ideas that I can use for a particular theme. Mm-hmm. And then I have a list of the themes to the actual murder plot. And I will use those as and when they fit in with the whole theme of the whole thing. So I work in sort of blocks, if you like.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like
really
what
great...
she has in the blackboard, you know, she has some stuff there, some stuff, and then it's all going to like tie together.
Yeah.
And I come up with my best ideas on the loo or in the bath, nowhere else. I can go out of the office and not have an idea, and I'll go to the loo and I'll come back to my assistant and says, "Oh my God, you'll never guess what."
Love that.
Yeah, actually, Matthew was saying he thinks that you're solving a case literally right now behind you. Like
yeah,
something's going on back there.
And what about Shenandoah?
Yeah.
Joy, you mentioned that you start with the theme. We start with the character. So when you think of, we have to connect with the victim, the suspects, or with the murder. One of, each season is a little different depending on who we connected with. But really, it's as we begin with creating that character, and then we build from there. We've found that if we go in any other different direction, it becomes more of a game versus an experience. So it's really important to us that we're trying to create an experience, and I don't ever get away from the goal of having more of a narrative game. Mm-hmm. So character is ultimately our first important thing. So a lot of times the game that you see, we have so much more backstory, but we deliver what we find is important to getting the storyline across. So we focus on that, and then we go from there to the storyline and build. And a lot of times it starts to write itself after a while once we've developed the characters the right way. And lastly, we go into the gameplay. If we start with gameplay first, we end up with some really weird evidence items that just don't fit. So we try to go the other way, other direction, and it really has over time evolved into being a good system for us. We also have a rule of 3 with every box, meaning as Joy was talking about, once it starts piecing together and bringing that together. We have played games in the past where we'll pick up the box, start playing, and we'll grab the first piece of evidence item, and we literally found the answer because we got lucky and picked the right thing to read or do or process first. And that we do not ever want to make that mistake for our players. We want them to be able, we want to force immersivity. And the only way to do that is to create a process where you have to have 3 or more items to solve or crack the case. And we feel like 3 seems to be our sweet number as far as if it's too much or not enough to get there. We want to keep everybody's attention span as well. So that has been a huge thing for us. So one thing I can tell you is you will never find a husband or wife cliche style storyline in our game. You might find, I don't know yet, I can't say that, a husband or wife murder, but there's going to be a lot more to it than just that. So
right. Yeah. I love the fact that you were saying about the character thing where, you see like all the pictures that you included with them. So then now you can like have a picture like, this
definitely.
So I'm always wondering, like, are they volunteers that just give you photos, or
are these
just taking them? Like, are they fans that are just like, yeah?
Some initially, I hate using stock Adobe or the Photoshop, but sometimes it's kind of unavoidable. Finding actors and people to help you with it is just really tough. And sometimes I just need one photo to give a face to a name, and it doesn't need to be much more than that. So it really depends. I know for our coming up season, Blind Faith, there is a significant amount of energy that's put into character visuals. So we want to be able to develop this person, and it's hard on our end to find an actor and actress to do that and count on them over a longer period of time. So my first seasons were friends and family. I stole their pictures and made them sign a waiver. So story. And then over time, we would work with the stock Adobe. We've found a really cool tool that's allowed us to basically come up with these people without reusing people, because the worst thing is, and it's happened to us where we'll open up a game and we're like, oh my God, that's our Larry Lewis.
Yeah.
Larry Lewis, so so we're trying to find ways around that happening to us again in the future. But I think it's just inevitable when you're creating a character that's only going to have one stop visit, in our process. So, but that's important to us.
Yeah, for sure.
We always wondered that, because it's like, wow, there's so many characters in here. Does she know all these people, or are they just?
I know lots of them.
Well, we have one final question before we wrap up, but something new that's coming up or in the works that you guys want to share with the audience?
Do we have like an hour at least?
This whole wall behind me.
You didn't ask me about my characters. They're all my actors on the weekends.
Right. Yes.
So they are real people playing real people. As far as what's coming up, as far as I'm concerned, we're just starting on Cold Case 3. And that takes, during lockdown, it took about 4 months to do each one, because we had the problems with lockdown and a lot of Zoom stuff. This one, I think, will be much quicker because we can actually get out and about. And as far as I'm personally concerned, I'm hoping that there's the big book deal coming up soon. So that would be, I've got 146 plots that are all brilliant, and they're all waiting to be turned into books, TV, films, hopefully. Wow. And MMI, as we call it, the Murder Mystery Investigations.
So that's the overall big picture, book into a film adaptation to, oh man, yeah.
Watch this space.
Big goals, yes. Great. And Shenandoah,
what's in
like I said, I could spend an hour talking about that. I'll try to sum it up as quick as
that'd be great.
Amanda's been working on solely, almost 95% of her time is spent on Sin City. So that's what we're delivering right now through our subscription process. And while she's doing that, ultimately the goal is that I could spend all my time working on Blind Faith. It's something that's been in the works for us since we started this business. We wanted to create a premium experience, something a little bit more elevated. With Lovely City, we had to be competitive to get out there because we were new. So to me, with Blind Faith, it's definitely going to be more on the narrative side, less on the game. So there'll be some puzzles, but it's got to be part of the flow with the storyline. Right. But the idea of Blind Faith, I think, is super cool. You're going to get your first box. It's still going to be series driven. Your first box will be from a letter along with items from the grave, directly from the victim themselves. Like they're stuck in purgatory almost. They don't remember who killed them or what had happened in the last days or weeks or months before they died, and they need help. So they're sending you maybe items that they had buried or were able to gather and ship to you. And then your next box will be from suspects. So whether it be a 4-season, our first season is going to be 6 episodes or 5 suspects. So each box would be another suspect, their side of the story and what they believe unfolded during that event or their relationship. And then at the end of it, you'd have everything you need to decide who's lying and who's not and track that down. So we've got a lot of it done. We also have a lot to be able. It's the production part that we're working on now. So but we were hoping to deliver that this month. But I mean that's the negative about being creator. You can't rush that stuff. So it might probably not be towards the end of the year. And we did even toyed around with trying to work through a Kickstarter because we were really enjoying the process of the Kickstarter segue that we're working on now. So we decided to do a Kickstarter with the puzzle idea. We have the stories already written. We're ready to go to production. And we realize we can't make it ourselves. And you all know how much we love to do that. And buying or having a puzzle produced at small quantities is just unreasonable for the cost. And so we decided to do a Kickstarter so that we can get the volume that we needed to be able to produce and ship out the puzzle. But the idea is, we do a couple puzzles a week and we sit around, my partner and my family and I, and we talk about the stupidest stuff. I can't find the red piece, or give me the side piece, or the dog ate this. It's just stupid nonsense conversation. And sometimes we enjoy that. So I think going into the idea of turning it into, maybe we should just play a murder mystery game, that's too immersive for what we're trying to accomplish during that time. And I thought, how cool would it be if we could change the way you puzzle, that you're putting together this puzzle while you're talking about who did it, why did they do it and how did they do it. And once you get all the pieces together, you can make an assessment with very minimal reading. So the goal is we won't ever have more text than what's on the poster. Because again, the reason why we do puzzles is to kind of check out, and we don't want to have to get immersed into those things.
Right.
So I think then, and there's several neat puzzle ideas out there, but none of them are quite like that. You know, they might have a mystery or Easter eggs at the end, but this allows your brain to start working in a little bit different in a way without being immersed. I think the jigsaw puzzle world and people who do jigsaw puzzles is incredibly huge. So I feel like if we can pull those jigsaw people into our murder mystery world, it'd be a winner for everybody involved. So
yeah. I love hybrids of the games, you know, like thinking of the, you know, I mean, that's how like I feel like for escape rooms, where they have remotes and live actors, and previously they didn't, but now they can incorporate that as well. And then you have digital games that can also be turned into like videos and types of stuff. So everything is like merging together, and it just makes things feel more immersive than like playing, you know, paper.
Borrowing different really popular elements.
A little different.
Yeah.
Makes it different. We're almost 70% to our target on Kickstarter. Our goal is a little higher than maybe the average murder mystery game out there, because we need to make it cost efficient if we're going to work with the manufacturer. So it's a little higher, but I'm very confident we'll hit the goal, and we're excited to share the product with everybody and hope that we'll experience great success with the product. So. Okay.
So this year though.
Yeah. Oh, that will actually be shipping in November.
Okay. And so co-pay this year?
What's that?
Oh. Okay. No, just checking with both of you so the audience knows.
It's going to be 2022. Before Christmas, so they can
just in time for Christmas. Perfect.
That's how it is for everyone right now. Everyone's like cramming for Christmas.
Yeah, they got their list, like it just keeps growing.
Well, speaking of Christmas, we do have gifts to give away ourselves as well.
We do?
We do. We have amazing gifts from these two creators. We have 3 winners that we're going to give away for Cocase 1 and 2 bundle pack from Murder Mystery Investigations.
Okay.
Are we ready?
Yeah. So let's get the drummer in here. And
okay. Our first winner is from our Instagram drawing, Escapers SC.
Yay! Congratulations, Escapers_SC.
Congratulations. All right.
You're going to be busy for 3 days? 4 days?
Probably longer.
Depends on how you play.
That's our reviewers like that. They're not that crazy. Okay, ready?
And the second winner is
Cracking on Mysteries. Congratulations. Woo!
Angela, congratulations. Is she sharing the game or playing with Peggy by herself? Like, what's happening?
Know, but there's definitely going to be wine involved.
We'll see. All right.
So that's all I know.
All right, we have one more to give. Here we go.
All right, and then Anna Claire Garcia.
Congratulations, Anna Clara. Yeah.
You're going to really enjoy these.
Yeah. And we have one
I hope
more.
so.
Yeah, especially with family and friends.
So what do they get from the Killing Affair? The winner?
Okay. For Killing Affair, this is amazing. The entire season of Independence Day.
Wow.
Valued at $170. And the winner is? With a Bambi purse. You know who that is. Linda, congratulations.
Oh my
gosh.
Yeah.
That's a big one too. She's gonna
all
be very
great,
busy.
Great gifts. Christmas came early.
That's how I see it. Yeah. Well, great advice and show today. Thank you guys for coming on for sure. And we also want to special thanks to our episode sponsor, Amazing Escape Rooms. They have 7 locations in New Jersey and Pennsylvania with 27 unique themed rooms. You can check them out on www.amazingescaperooms.com. And if you guys are interested in being a BTM episode sponsor, please email us at info@escapetheroomers.com. And once again, thank you so much, ladies. We're so happy to have you with us here today. I feel like I've learned so much. Maybe we can try to write one.
We'll try it, but the husband is not going to be the murderer.
I'll play test, CC.
Oh, thank you.
You're going to give us a ton of feedback.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Well, audience, if they've inspired you as well, perhaps you want to give it a go. And you guys should really have like fan mails that, receive these type of things that probably can inspire you guys with more ideas as well.
Yeah, it's kind of like our previous guests in the past, Escape Team, where they create their own puzzles and they upload it to their website. So something similar.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Cool.
Yeah, you never know when your story is going to be used. So,
Yeah.
hey, definitely send them some ideas. So, I hope you guys all enjoyed this episode. And if you did, smash that like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't yet for more episodes to come. Our next one is going to be on July 22nd. And that's going to be a big one, as we'll be inviting all of the creators of Book of Dreams on the show. And they're coming from 5 different countries comprised of 12 different companies working on this one puzzle book together. I don't know how that works, but I'm very curious to find out.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of creative minds on that show.
Yeah, amazing creators, amazing escape room owners, amazing puzzle creators. But yeah, we definitely want to hear their stories. So tune in on July 22nd at 4 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, great seeing everyone once again on a Friday. Thank you so much, and thank you for tuning in. Have a great weekend.
And you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks.